are those penalties? The fact is those penalties can be as severe as anything that can be imposed from CBP because there's very little mitigation to be able to avoid them. So there are basically 4 factors that can result in liquidated damages. First one is failure to submit. Pretty straightforward. You got to file your ISF. Now, we can make this be a little bit more ominous for you. If you don't file your ISF and those goods hit the shore, the best thing you could hope for is that Customs doesn't allow them to be unladen. The worst thing is that they go GO and they end up in an Indiana Jones warehouse that's 3,000 by 5,000 and you'll never see your goods again. So they are quite serious. And think again, this is a security filing. So this is set up to secure the borders of the United States. That's why they're being very harsh. So you must file your ISF. The days of learning about your order or your import when you get your arrival notice are over. The days of the CEO or your purchasing agent just grabbing a deal, buying it, and setting it in motion without your knowledge are over. And we're going to talk a little bit more about discussions within your organization if you haven't set those up already for policies and procedures. Very important that you know in import and logistics what's going on out of purchasing and sales. Second one is a late submission. Late submissions are going to be determined through that bill of lading match because they're going to know if, in fact, you filed it in time. There's a progress report we'll show you a little bit later that will give you information on how successful you are in being able to meet that requirement. Failure to update. Information changes. Customs understands that. Vessels change. Containers get rolled. I thought it was one manufacturer. It really wasn't. I thought I had one HTS code on here. I don't. You are expected to update your ISF with that changed information. It's not a problem to do. It's very straightforward. You amend the ISF that you've already filed, and they now have the updated information. However, it also is part of the finable series of things, so if you fail to update, there's a potential of being fined for that. Also, getting back to if your goods get rolled, you are expected to withdraw and delete that ISF. That's also a finable offense. Had a couple of questions out there kind of parsing those terms, and if you've got a couple of containers, and let's say container A remains with the bill of lading on the ship, container B gets rolled, the first thing you're thinking is, okay, well, I need to delete that ISF. Actually, you don't. The only thing you need to delete are the HTS codes that were part of the container that got rolled. You don't have to delete the ISF because you still have goods associated with that bill of lading. So if both containers got rolled, then of course you would have to withdraw and delete that ISF. So we can go over some of the finer points a little bit more in Q&A later, but that's the basic 4 items that you could be fined on for liquidated damages and penalties for your ISF. Now, what about mitigation? There are 6 mitigation factors that may allow you to reduce or even eliminate the fines. They're very limited, however. What's the first one on there? The progress of the importer's ISF program to date. Again, get filing now because you're going to then have that history with Customs, and it's the first place they're going to look. Has this importer, in good faith, been filing with us up to date? Have we seen an improvement in their policies and procedures, and have we seen an increase in the percentage of expected filings as a percentage of their ocean-bound shipments? That's what they're going to look at first. And they're also going to take a look at the percentage of your ISFs that have violations. Okay, how are you doing? Are you improving? For those of you who are Tier 2 or Tier 3 CTPAT members, well, you've got a 50% off discount on mistakes on your ISF. That's good. Of course, it's still $2,500, so it's still not an inexpensive road to hoe. And you don't want Customs starting to review your importer number as being a violator for ISF. So we do want to fix that. What actions did you take after you learned of that violation? Did you trim up your communication process, your policies and procedures internally to get that fixed? they're going to look upon those with discretion. And they're also, and we'll use that discretion word out there because this is not going to be just a hammer coming down on you. They will, we can tell you that the conversations we have said, Rich Danucci, who is in charge of ISF at Customs, has said, we are looking to get this process up and running, to get this program running as well as we can, as quickly as we can, not looking to fine importers $5,000. This isn't a revenue generator. This is a security filing. So if there's due diligence on your side and it's discovered that there was just circumstances beyond your control from an information gathering standpoint, or you just simply received inaccurate information by your third party within the supply chain, and that's what you put in the ISF, they're going to look upon that with discretion. So you want to keep good records, keep good due diligence records about how you obtain your information and what occurs along the way. And if that's the case, you're going to be in good shape. Now, we're going to show you a progress report in a minute, and these are the reports that are based on the history for those of you who are out there and filing right now. We use this anecdote because we think that it's very important if you are filing right now, if you are obtain the data set, give it to your broker, and you believe you have now done what you need to do in regards to ISF, we would suggest that you need to take it a step further because in several conversations, and one in particular last week, we had this conversation. Okay, well, I'm filing through my broker right now. You know, I get him the data set. He's been doing it. I can see it because I got a charge for it on my bill, so I've done what I need to do, right? Maybe, maybe not. What you need to do is take it to the next step, because if you have been filing, you've got a progress report at Customs. And the fact is that that progress report states right at the bottom, your broker is expected to send that to you so you understand how well you're doing. Because remember, in most cases, you're obtaining the data set. And we would suggest to you, if someone else is obtaining the data set on your behalf, you need to be involved, because at the end of the day, it's your importer of record number and, more importantly, your continuous bond that is going to be at risk here if you are fined and penalized for inaccurate or non-timely filings of ISF. So what we said was, have you seen your progress reports? Great, you're filing. Have you seen your progress report? No, we haven't. What's that? Your broker has it. If you've been filing, ask him for it. Get a hold of it and look at it, because it's going to tell you some very important information about the success that you've had so far in filing the data that you've given. We found in this particular case that they were filing after the ship had left. They were just waiting. They thought, from a data set standpoint, I just get my bill of lading when I get it. It was happening after the ship left. They thought they were in full compliance, and in fact, they were non-timely every single time. And that could result in a $5,000 fine every single time. So it adds up quickly, but it's easily fixed. Now they're getting back into their data gathering procedures. They're getting it earlier, and they're moving towards compliance. So get that report, and as it says at the bottom here, get it and review it today.